Hey there, yo, this is the show. It's called Calling It Now, and this is the theme song this week, I guess. What's gonna happen?
You still haven't got a theme song?
No, this is more fun. What's gonna happen? Are more people gonna call in and say totally unhinged stuff? I bet so. Welcome, everybody.
Oof.
This is Calling It Now. I'm Jimmy Snow, joined once again by Jovan Bradley. We are here for 2 hours to bridge the gap between the Sunday show and the Sunday show after dark. And we are here to take calls from anybody who would like to contest the statement that Christianity and MAGA are destroying America. Also, if you would like to bring up and contend with, I've been seeing people posting all over. I'm not going to give away what my counter argument would be. If you want to call in with your contention, because you're MAGA, this idea of, oh, they call for gun control when it's this, but when Donald Trump got shot, nobody, because I've been seeing this posted everywhere. I think somebody on Fox News said it, and now they're trying to meme it all over. I'm ready for you. How come the left didn't call for disarmament, for gun control when Donald Trump got shot? That's so weird. Isn't that so weird? But if you want to hear our rebuttal, you'll have to call it. I just hope we have as good of calls as the other day. Like you'll all soon be seeing the clip up of Tracy who found out real time that she at the very least goes to white supremacist parties, if not being a white supremacist herself.
You don't go to white supremacist parties, Jimmy?
No.
That's just me and Tracy? Okay, my bad.
It's funny too, because like when we were talking with her, we were having the I've brought up many times that if you are somewhere that Nazis show up, at a party where the Nazis show up and you don't throw them out, you're now at a Nazi party. But she seems to have gone to a Nazi party and thought somehow like her corner is exempt from being part of the, it was this whole thing. Anyway,
I think besides me and you getting a Nazi caller, I think me and Matt, when I was on with him the other day, also got 2 back-to-back, at least white supremacists.
Yeah. They're out there, and it's wild. It's wild. All right.
Well, they're not afraid anymore.
Let's send a poll in the chat. Are you MAGA and willing to talk about it? Are you MAGA and willing to talk? And the answers you can go are yes, I'm calling. Yes.
My plan today is to talk over Jimmy as much as humanly possible.
I'm scared.
That's my goal for the stream today.
No, not MAGA. I mean, it's just then going to be the whole time will just be both. And then in edit, when we put up the clip, it'll have to be, we'll let the editor decide which one's making the better point in every given moment.
We literally both debate the guests at the exact same time.
Yeah. Barrels, it turns out, are a legitimate measurement of apples.
Are we doing this again?
How do you like them apples?
So our bushels are still apples.
Bushels. Yep. Your position
Bundles.
was bunches.
Bunches still works.
I mean, I know what you mean. So in that, like, what's that one creator? His name's, I think, Noah something, where he's like, if you know what they meant, then technically what they said wasn't wrong in that regard.
No, it's just it's pedantically, am I right or wrong?
Have you met Luxander yet?
Officially met? No.
Luxander's wonderful. And we just had this fucking hilarious moment where I was talking to a different white supremacist and that white supremacist. Also, I'd love to talk to a MAGA person who would like to, if you are listening right now and you think you can defend that there is a non-white supremacist section of the MAGA movement, I would love to hear from you. If you want to defend the good parts of MAGA and acknowledge, we will talk to.
There's definitely just stupid MAGA.
Right.
There are people that are just too dumb to realize that, like, those people.
There was, on that last show that you missed, there was a guy who he said, well, you just think all of MAGA are dumb. And I said, I resent that. That is not true. I do not think that all of MAGA are dumb. I think some of them are evil. And then he says something, the little conversation happened, and I said, listen, if it makes you feel any better, of the 2 categories, I don't think you're evil. And he said, thank you. So that was good. And then Luxander was talking I was talking to this white supremacist guy, and Luxander starts to pipe in, and the guy melts down and goes, "Who is this female?"
Jesus Christ. My go-to is I tell them that like if it's anybody that I'm debating and they're MAGA, they're either dumb or they're lying. Like it's one of the other. When you say anything that you claim is factually correct, that I know is factually incorrect, then you're either lying or you're dumb. It can't be both.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you can be a dumb liar, but
it's pretty much you say lying. I was just going with evil, like that. It's a malicious lie kind of thing. Like that. I think there are lots of people who formulate amongst them. Anyway, these lines are open and we are ready to take on. Remember, we've only got the 2-hour window here. So if you want to call in and have these debates with us, now is the time. 33654-32101. If you want to call and scold us. On Friday night, were you broadcasting your delight at the possibility like I was?
Delight of what?
You didn't? Were you around Friday night when everybody was like, "Bro, it kind of looks like he might have passed away."
I didn't believe that shit, bro.
I got to tell you, I wasn't quite Pepe Sylvia at the board with the strings connecting everything, but was I checking Truth Social every 30 minutes, being like, "This is a long time he has not posted a Truth Social." This is also, a long time.
Well, did you? He posted recently about that fucking lawsuit of his. He's suing. Who is he suing for? Like $1 billion something?
Oh, who knows? I know Gavin Newsom's suing Fox News. I'm trying to think who's suing who these days.
No, he just. Let me see if I can pull it up. He just talked about this lawsuit the other day. Let me see if I can pull it.
A caller started to call in and then they bailed. Why'd you bail? Call in. Don't bail. We don't take you straight onto the show. This isn't Jovan Bradley's channel. This is
yeah, but that's how I get the unhinged.
You got to get the screening in there. Yeah, we've had too many people that are just like, so can I just get a slur scream in and nothing else? So we've got the screening.
I've actually never been on his Truth Social on a computer. This is an unusable website.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking through his Truth Social. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go through each post and I'm going to say add or post. Okay.
Okay.
So starting from the very top of Donald Trump, this is the owner of the platform and the president of the country.
Yeah.
Add, post, add, post, add, post, add, post.
Have you seen how bad the comment section is?
This is crazy.
If you try to open the comments, have you seen how bad that is? Because it's always like, hey, here's the topic. And then the top 30 comments are not related at all. It's just some meme somebody put in there. True Social is
this is an unusable website. Unusable.
No matter how MAGA you are, and I mean no matter how MAGA, if you're sitting there jerking off to the thought of Eva Braun taking it from Hitler, like that level of MAGA, this website should still offend you at being ill-productive. It's a bad website. Crazy. I don't know. You guys, jerk off.
Also, the ads are all for either like My Pillow or they're for like this puppet thing. The fuck. It's like Patriot puppets. It's little hand puppets of like Donald Trump as like little animals.
That could be from Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom has like I don't know if it is, but the Patriot store is like a parody store of the dumb stuff that Donald Trump does. So Patriot puppets could be a joke.
That would be like getting your like joke product making fun of Trump on ads on his own posts on Truth Social.
Pretty good.
That's the way to go. That's the ticket right there.
Hey MAGA, we're ready to talk to you. A few of you in chat have said that you want to talk to us too, so we are waiting for you. That phone number is right up there, 336-54-32101. Very easy to remember, 336-54-32101.
I keep telling Jimmy to let me also put the number up live on my vertical. I promise they'll call in.
Can you do like a screen that's like, for the full stream you got to come here, but here's just a black screen with the number or something?
I could probably do that. It won't. it has to be after Spectrum finally stops dicking me over. I wonder what I'm getting upload speed right now. It's past 6 o'clock. I'd be shocked if I'm getting an upload speed past 15.
Dude, we gotta get you some fiber optic.
There's fiber 2 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
Not in the development I'm in right now currently. It's such bullshit.
If I buy you 1,000-meter Ethernet cable, can we steal it from somebody?
My computer is hard low. Like, could we take it to? I don't know if it'll fit. Yeah, I'm getting 11 megabyte upload, which is fine to do this because I'm just like in a call with you.
It's
but
not
like
fine
I couldn't
to do
stream to anything with that
while you're speed testing though, because you fully lost a sentence of dialogue. I don't know if you know that. While you were doing the test, you were gone.
Is it fixed now?
Yeah. We're good.
Okay,
we're
cool.
good.
I forgot computers can't do two things at once.
We have a place with all the line numbers. Well, anything on this channel is 33654-32101. You can just open any live show and see it. And anything on the other channel is 720-619-2288. And you can open any episode. I think they even put the phone number on the clips.
I think we got to start getting more
specific.
Channel. I think we got to start being more specific about the topic. Like Christianity plus MAGA. No, we need to put like being MAGA makes you stupid.
Ban cis white men from owning guns.
Stop. Your cisgender. Get over it.
I think we need like.
Although could that be read? Could that be read as an anti-trans?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, I have a good friend. I just think she's phenomenal. I hope she gets back into making a lot more content sometime soon. But have you ever heard of Mama Dr. Jones?
No.
So she's like OBGYN. She has done, and so she's also like an abortion educator and everything. She's done some stuff with us in the past. She also goes on mainstream media outlets to explain how abortions and stuff actually work medically and stuff. And years ago, we did something and she sent me one of her merch shirts. And the merch shirt just says, you don't get to, what was it like? It's something like you don't get to have feelings about science or something like that. Like, or it was kind of like science doesn't care how you feel. And it was an anti-vax. It was anti-vax. It was like you vaccine people are insane here. And so she wore it, or she gave it to me, and immediately people thought it was a transphobe thing. And it was like, you guys have to stop making us look bad, because on trans issues, science is on our side. So stop. Like, why would you assume? Anyway, it was a whole.
So one of the things I like to do is I like to go creep after videos are posted just to see what people say in the comment section, because I like to, we like to see what the MAGA has to say, because they're real brave after the fact. Yeah. They don't like to call in, but they're real brave after.
Oh, always.
My favorite on the last one I was in with Matt was I think Jovan says correct stuff, but I just can't handle the headphones. I'm like, that's actually crazy, bro. That is so stupid.
That is so. Imagine being that insecure. Oh my goodness. All right,
truly.
Here's the thread I'm going to put. Hey MAGA, we do have some call screening right now. We'll get to those here in just a second. Hey MAGA, you can call and debate actual leftists right now and tell us all the great points you've had this week about school shootings, Bibles, Trump, and any of that stuff you're loudly proclaiming here. Warning, we might fact check you. Call us now. And then I'll just put the phone number, which I've come around to thinking that you're pretty much right. That the old phone number, like it's usual. Just when a phone number looks different than just that, other people's brains can't keep up with what is better, because if something is better, it may be worse if it's different. Do you know what I mean? And so,
I think it's just when you're so used to something, when you see it in a different way, your brain can't, like, we're all basically programmed from the time we can read that phone numbers are 123 123 1234.
Right.
So when you put a phone number that is not 123 123 1234,
I think the reason why I thought I could get away with it was because there are minor adaptations to that, but they require
yeah,
words.
but they're always on the beginning or something like that.
Or it's
and even when
word,
they're not they're
numbers.
still yeah, but even then it'll be like 1-800-LAW-1010, right? Like it's your brain understands like the 1-800 then
I just remember like
call,
old
but the first you know what it is? It's that the first 3 has to always be 3.
You remember the 1-800-JENNY-2000 or something like that. I remember those commercials.
No, I'm not an old man.
Aren't you? Am I that much older than you? Can you run for president yet?
3 more years and I'll be able to run for president.
Yeah, I'm so old. I'm so old. It's true. I'm kind of old. I feel it a lot, mostly in my colon. All right, that's the only colon reference. Don't worry, people. It's not going to be the only one. Are y'all joking me? Last day of the month, everyone, we will be refreshing our merch store. I'm not going to tell you which ones may be leaving because I don't remember. But if you're thinking about some merch, you probably want to go over to linemerch.com and get it now before some of the stuff will be gone again. I can't remember which stuff. But wait, I have to confirm I'm human on Threads? What the shit? Am I on a fake Threads?
Oh yeah. Facebook, the Meta, the absolutely doesn't use bots website wants you to prove you're human.
Right. What world is this? Okay. No.
I don't know, but it looks like we got a MAGA call.
We got a spicy one. All right, let's get the call started while I work on that. And why don't you go ahead and hit answer because I'm all messed up.
Someone hit that JG. I still don't know the opening spiel you like.
All right, I got it. Peter in Arizona is calling in. And Peter, you are talking to Jimmy and Jovan. How are you, Peter?
Guys, I'm so scared. I always think I'm going to be like a tough guy, but I'm so scared.
Why? Of us?
Okay.
I don't know. I think that, anytime it's like you put your ideas out there and then you hear from smart people that they're dumb, which is good, but I just generally, first and foremost, my background, I just like Trump. I think I just liked him as an individual. I found he was really entertaining. I first heard him when he was making fun of Kristen Stewart with the whole Robert Pattinson drama, and I thought that was really funny. And then when he ran for president, I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. And then, of course, all my friends said, that's not the basis on which you should vote in a democracy. I get that. But, yeah, I think my first basis was just that I liked him. But while I was waiting for you guys, I was like, well, if the premise is, Christianity and MAGA are destroying America, I thought, well, what are kind of like the pillars of America? And maybe you guys have already talked about this, but what are kind of the pillars of America that we all agree on where, like, if they're destroyed, America's destroyed?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would just say we have a constitutionally backed certain level of civil rights and liberties, and that if those civil rights and liberties are stepped on, then America is functionally being destroyed for Americans.
Okay. And then do you feel like Christianity and then MAGA attack the same ones, or they go at different ones?
It's one and the same at this point because the MAGA movement is designed to push a white Christian nationalist view on the country. So the ideology essentially is the same.
Okay. And then, so I would say, well, do you guys prefer if people make statements or ask questions? I don't even.
Well, why don't you just tell us, like, you said that you support Trump currently, like, why? Like, what has he done as president that you're willing to call into a debate show and defend him?
Yeah, I think that, in terms of whether or not, so it's tough because there's the destruction of America, which is the basis of the conversation. And so anything that's pro-Trump, I think personally, pales in, because it has to be the converse of total destruction of America in order to prove a point.
Okay.
Or in order
think
to
Trump
dig
is?
destruction out of the
Peter, do you think Trump is destroying America?
No, I don't. That's
okay. Why
the
not?
basis, and I think that.
Let's just start there.
I don't think that constitutionally implemented rights and privileges have been taken away. So that would be one pillar of
that's absolutely not true.
The destruction of America. I think that's one pillar of the destruction of America.
Cool. Let's just start with that pillar then, Peter. Let's just start with that pillar and talk about how he has stripped constitutional rights and liberties from people. Right? We can talk about the fact that plenty of people currently are not receiving due process. That is a constitutionally protected right that we all have, whether you're a citizen or not, to due process in rule of law in this country.
And in what situations are those happening?
Like all the immigration stuff, all the deportations, all the people that are getting shipped off from the United States to prisons in other countries with no trial.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a violation of their constitutionally protected right to due process.
So constitutionally, presidents have rights to take out orders, which are then debated in the judicial system. So presidents frequently, every single president ever in America's history has acted extra constitutionally and waited for the decisions of the courts in order to justify or denounce it as constitutional, which they took.
I'm gonna let Peter. I'm gonna take what you just said as correct. What is different about the judicial branch under Donald Trump versus quote unquote every other president beforehand?
I don't know. You tell me that he's appointed some of them.
No, not just appointed some of them. That Mitch McConnell has spent the last decade absolutely packing the courts with extremists, and now we also have, and now we have
the same thing about FDR. I'd be curious if you'd say the same thing about FDR, who not only packed it with his own appointees, but he also nominated people.
I'm like 30 Peters in so far. Peter, what is it about my voice that people just go, oh, he doesn't need to finish the sentence that he's saying right now. He doesn't need to. He does. What could he possibly need to say? Why would he need to be able to get out the end of his first sentence here? Peter, are we going to do that, or are we're going to have a back and forth here?
You tell me. Well, go ahead. If
I tell you. Okay, I wasn't the one who interrupted you. Peter. Peter.
No, meaning it's your show. I'll defer to you, obviously. I'm sorry.
Great. Peter, we currently have a much more radical court and a more radical court system that also, when it came to appointing, the constitutional rights of other presidents were denied, because Obama absolutely had the right to hear his own, when Scalia died, have his own hearing for his nominee, and yet that was denied. And right now we have a much more radical court system than any time in America. And so to say, like, we just need them to look at Donald Trump and his ability to get away with basically murder down in Florida because he happened to get Eileen Cannon, who was completely politically motivated. And you're sitting there going like, well, the judicial, that branch of government is going to check it. Meanwhile, the rest of the judicial branch was writing letters, these judges being like, hey, Eileen Cannon, absolutely compromised. That's wrong what she's doing here. This shit is messed up. And then what happened? Nothing. There was no accountability. She doesn't get reassigned. Nothing ends up happening. People just go, man, we really, really don't like it. So even your thing of like that, the checks and balances, we are talking about something that started decades ago to remove the checks and balances, to make sure that when their authoritarian got in, he would have little to no. Surely you must know that his violation of the emoluments clause is like excessive beyond what anybody has ever done, which is also anti-constitutional. Who's holding him accountable for that?
No, I disagree with your premise. I think that you haven't even answered the question, or you haven't even proven the point that the judicial system is in a new position now than it was 30 years ago, 50 years ago.
I can prove it. I can prove it. Wait. I can prove that it's different than it was 4 years ago when Biden tried to pass school loan forgiveness. The Supreme Court kicked in and said it's unconstitutional to do this under the HEROES Act. Biden stopped doing it. When the Supreme Court said to Trump, hey, you can't deport people without giving them due process, whether they're citizens or not, Donald Trump just kept doing it.
First of all, Donald Trump, I agree that under your premises of the action needed to be taken by the president, Donald Trump did not act accordingly in the moment that it happened. I also
and is continuing not to.
I also know.
Wait, that's such a wait. That's such a wait, Peter.
I also know.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you, Peter.
Remember when you said my name 30 times? You remember when you said my name 30 times and you thought that
I know I got a cold, so I sound like a white man,
but
but
that's different. Why would you not let me do it?
We actually, as host, we don't let you gish gallop. You go 1 point at a time for us.
You also just said something that's like functionally untrue. Donald Trump was told explicitly that by kicking people out of the country and ignoring court orders, he is violating due process, and he continues to do it. Do you agree?
I don't agree.
Okay. I don't know how you disagree with just like a literal fact. Has Donald Trump kicked people out of the country without giving them due process? Yes or no?
I agree that he has not given them due process according to some people's definition of what is required for due process
according to the Supreme Court.
Immigrants.
According to the Supreme Court.
Kicked people out of.
Not according to some people, according to the highest judiciary in the land.
Yes, the Supreme Court on June 23rd, 2025, allowed the Trump administration to resume deporting migrants to third countries, meaning nations other than the migrant country. Yes,
are we ChatGPT
you guys
right
are
now?
lying.
Holy
you are
shit.
lying.
Hey,
that's why
Peter, who is Abrego Garcia?
Abrego Garcia was the immigrant who had already been designated as appropriate to deport by a court in 2019, who was deported under the Trump administration.
And what
Actually,
happened?
no, in 2019, hold on, because that's functionally incorrect. In 2019, he was granted a stay of removal from immigration court, which meant he couldn't be removed to El Salvador. He was given a stay of removal.
No,
guess who still removed him to El
true.
Salvador? You want to bet?
I will.
Sorry, Jimmy. I will put literally $500 on this right now.
I have no way of paying you, and I'm not going to bet on it. So just look it up.
You know why?
I did it the way you did. I just did with ChatGPT. All I wrote was Abrego Garcia designated correct to deport? And it said, no, Abrego Garcia has been granted withholding of removal by an immigration judge in 2019 due to credible threats from gangs in El Salvador. He was living legally in Maryland, compliant with ICE check-ins, and has a work permit.
Damn.
So had you taken the bet, will you acknowledge you would have lost the $500?
No, they allowed him to stay based on that. Not that he wasn't eligible to be deported. That's
you are not eligible if you are granted a withholding of removal.
No, that is two different things. It's saying we're not deporting you now doesn't mean you won't ever be deported.
So a withholding of removal needs to be rescinded by the courts.
Mm-hmm.
If it is not rescinded, it is active. You know how we know it's active? Because when we look at the Supreme Court case, Noam v. Garcia, which is the United States Supreme Court arguing against this, they literally say the United States government never rescinded his currently effective withholding order. Now, can they boot him somewhere else? Sure, you can make the argument, yes, that if they wanted to, they could potentially boot him to a different country, but they didn't. They violated his rights, which in the country, everybody, whether you're an illegal alien or not, has a right to due process. They violated this right and kicked him out to the country that was on his order not to be sent to.
So, Peter, if everything we're saying is wrong and a lie, why did the conservative court on April 10th uphold our position, which is that it was wrong and that it was unconstitutional, and tell the Trump administration that they must facilitate his return?
It's a good point. I don't know. Good point.
Thanks. You could just say I lost. It's fine, but whatever. It is what it is. So anyway, that's our first. That's a good point.
You're like, I just said, yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. I mean, I'm literally letting you beat me, and you're like, you could just say you lost.
Oh, thank you for letting.
It's a strange thing, especially when I don't understand,
Peter,
how many people you have on who just give
You're waffling
in.
right
You know,
now.
I'm saying, okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Holy shit,
Peter. Thank you for letting
Christ.
me beat you. I'm not sure I could have done it without your permission. How do you feel about Donald Trump and the emoluments clause? What did you say? I'm gay?
No, I said, what a weird take.
Oh, I thought you said, oh, you're gay. I was like,
no.
What about Donald Trump and the emoluments clause? How do you feel about that?
Tell me about it.
You tell me first. What do you think what do you think is going to be the reason I tell you he's violating the emoluments clause?
Because the court has ruled in a way that's anti-him?
No, not at all. What specifically do you think I'm going to say is a violation of the is a violation of? I can't say emoluments very well. I'm trying to get better. It's a hard word to say. I want to put an N there in the middle. Emoluments clause. What do you think I'm going to say is?
Are you worried that he's receiving? Well, does it have to do with Qatar, or I don't know what you're referencing.
Do you know what the emoluments clause is?
Doesn't it have to do with like gifts, like the plane he received? But I'm not sure.
That could be one of them. That could definitely be one. Basically, you are not as president allowed to be enriched by a foreign nation, and basically they are not allowed to purchase from you influence and favor. What percentage of Donald Trump's wealth has he accrued, would you guess, since the second term began? You think about his overall, just guess. It doesn't have to be perfect, but take his overall wealth and think about what percentage of it is since he was
10%.
Reelected. It's 40% by his meme coin scheme, his crypto scheme, which foreign governments are pumping money into, notably right before having to have sit downs with him, making the value go up by billions of dollars. And then they seem to be getting more favorable decisions from him. So that doesn't feel like a giant, like literally your president can be bought, and that's anti-constitutional and not something you'd worry much about.
I'm not worried about it at all. No, I think
you're not worried about a sitting president scamming his people.
No, I think this is something that people use to critique any president who is in office.
Billions of dollars. His personal wealth up billions of dollars. You think that's just nothing?
Yeah, I think it's nothing, especially after his first administration where his personal wealth was down. I think it's completely irrelevant, and I think that every other president has gained massively from their presidential
billions of dollars. So what you're saying is Hunter Biden, that shit didn't bug you at all if it was true that he made billions, or that Biden might have been the big man who was getting money from Ukraine to get that prosecutor fired. That if that's true, actually, that doesn't bother you because that's just what presidents do, right?
Or how Obama bought his compound in Hawaii because
Obama's not the president right now. Please stop. The whataboutism shit is so stupid. I don't care what I don't care what Obama. I'm not talking to my friend. I'm talking to you. I don't care what my co-host mentioned. I'm talking to you.
Peter, stop being so emotional.
I don't care what the co-host mentioned.
Stop being so
I'm
emotional.
talking about to you.
Let's take the emotions down. Let's not scream. Let's not cry.
Why did you bring up Biden if I couldn't bring up Obama?
I
What?
don't
How does that
bring
make sense?
you. First of all, I asked you a question, and rather than answering it, you tried to pivot to Obama in a way that doesn't enhance the conversation at all. So you whatabouted to a different Democrat.
You pivoted to Biden in a way that didn't enhance the conversation at all.
Peter,
You did the same thing.
Peter, I'm going to explain it to you. Please take the emotions down and stop yelling. I'm going to explain it to you.
Okay.
I gave you Biden to show you there's a hypocrisy if you say it was a problem there or there. If you point out hypocrisy to me about, excuse me, let me finish. The reason Obama didn't enhance the conversation is I'm not going to defend Obama as non-corrupt. Whether or not the specific example you give is accurate or true, I don't even care, because I'd be putting Obama in prison for being a fucking war criminal anyway and droning civilians without really giving a shit. Basically participating in soft genociding himself. So I am trying to find out if you are hypocritical by asking that question. If you say it doesn't bug you when Trump did it, does that mean I couldn't go to your social media and find you talking shit about the money that allegedly the Bidens were receiving? Or did you have a problem when you thought it was Hunter and Joe Biden profiting corruptly, but you don't when Donald Trump does?
I will answer this, but I do think that it is strange that I could not answer in the way that I did. What my original point was that I am not bugged by it because it is something that every president has done since the inception of America. So my point has been
so stupid, Peter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Did Obama not do it? Did Biden not do it? I'm strange.
If you've got evidence that Obama scammed the American people out of a bunch of money using a meme coin, throw his ass in jail.
And specifically that foreign governments bought influence and better outcomes by enriching him, because that would be what the emoluments clause is for.
This has happened under every administration. That's what I'm saying.
Then throw them in jail.
If you are right, which I doubt you are, but if you are right, throw them all in jail, because that's anti-constitutional from the get-go. And on the scale that he is doing it is much larger than anybody else. And so even if you are correct, which again, I have no reason to believe you are correct that has been done. Foreign influence has been bought at personal enrichment. But let's say you are, throw them all in jail. The level and scale he is doing it should concern you because it is much larger. Just like pardoning, I don't think any president should be able to pardon somebody. I would take the presidential pardon away. And yet Donald Trump has used pardoning more corruptly than any president prior.
Okay, I just don't agree with that. I think that it's
you're wrong.
Terminology. Yeah, but I think that's an impasse that will reach because it's subjective terminology.
Is it?
No, it's not. If it's something, Peter, that every president has done, why did Donald Trump feel the need to roll back regulatory enforcement on cryptocurrency? Why did he have to roll back regulations on cryptocurrency? And why did he just so conveniently drop specific SEC investigations into the crypto bros that he's friends with? Seems kind of weird that if every president can just do this, that Donald Trump would have to go out of his way to make it easier for him to do it.
No, I think that this is irrelevant. I think there are so many reasons that crypto needs to be untethered. I think there are so many reasons that crypto needs to be untethered.
Name one.
Of course, they benefit wealthy people, but there are so many reasons it needs to be untethered. I think that crypto is a net benefit. Name one crypto regulation you disagree with. Name one crypto regulation you disagree with, specifically. Yeah, I don't know.
It needs to be untethered. I can't tell you how it's being tethered. I can just tell you it's being tethered. I can't tell you how. I can't tell you what the regulations are that are restricting crypto in a way I don't like. I just don't think it should be. Peter, Jesus Christ.
Okay, this is a topic that you just jumped into, and then you're dunking on me because I don't have something on it.
You made a claim, Peter. Peter, holy
about
shit,
crypto?
bro.
Yes.
If you don't want to make it, if you don't want me to jump in on something you say, don't make it like an absolute statement. Don't come in here when I'm saying, hey, is it bad that Trump rolled back SEC or rolled back FCC protections or regulations on crypto, and that he's dropping investigations into crypto companies? And you go, well, I think crypto should be deregulated. I think it should be this. But then I don't untethered, but I don't know any of the regulations. Yeah. That means you literally just have a belief system, and you're trying to fit everything into this belief system, as opposed to doing research and then formulating a belief system off of that.
Well, now I'm going to Google it, because I have heard of all of these, and I don't have it off the top of my head. That's what I'm saying. When I said, when we jumped into crypto, I do have a generalized viewpoint, and I will admit that comes from being on one side of the political aisle. But there are many things that I have seen in crypto that have been changed that I think needed to be changed. One of those, which is something that I really support, is access to crypto through retirement accounts and through traditional investment institutions. That is something that needed to change.
You think they should or shouldn't have access to that?
I think they should, and that's what's happened.
And the regulation should or shouldn't match the regulation on other retirement accounts?
Oh, I'm saying that retirement accounts should be opened to access to crypto.
Right, and that the money that because there are regulations on retirement accounts, things you can and can't do, things you can and can't claim, ways things are taxed. Should the money through crypto be similarly regulated or not?
Well, it was regulated more before. You could not have a crypto before.
Peter, have you ever answered a yes or no question in your life with only a yes or no?
Sorry, I didn't know that was a yes or no. Can you ask it one more time?
No. Hey, the net worth of Donald Trump in 2015. I beat
you on that subject. You got one, I got one, I got to go.
Sir, no, you didn't. You definitely lost. But it's funny that you think you can declare yourself the loser and declare yourself the winner. He admitted he lost the first one, but he thinks that gives him he ran away just there. I was going to ask him what his what the $4.5 billion number that he supposedly had in 2015 was based on, and then his follow-up one in 2021 of $2.4 billion. And you will find that the 4.5 is mostly based on self-reporting, and the 2.4 actually has more actual backing to it, actual support. And so it is not unlikely, it might even be likely. There are a lot of assessments out there that go, yeah, a big part of it is, one, Donald Trump did transfer some of his wealth to his family, though not all of it, like he should have, like what's-his-face did, Carter did. But two, he actually just didn't have as much. He didn't have $4.5 billion in 2015 either. Now his worth has gone up a lot as he has been scamming. Anyway, we got to love a guy there who's scorekeeping. He tells you when he loses and when he wins. By the way, update people, I have been suspended from Threads. That's what happened. I did submit an appeal. We'll see if it comes back. Was it something I said? I got it. It was right. You know what? It might be because I put the phone number on in a post.
Wait,
I wonder if it was that.
Wait. Like Threads you got on, made one post and then got suspended?
Immediately. And they were like, we want to make sure you're not a robot.
That's so funny.
It's funny that it's that, but it wasn't earlier when I was like, hey, little spoiler about Trump's health. And then I did the spoiler hide, and it was like, let's release the Epstein files before he dies so we can make fun of him while he rots. But anyway. All right, let's try. Let's see if we can get a more honest interlocutor here.
I see who I think we should do.
All right, you pick. I'm good with whoever.
Okay.
Which line you want?
I'm gonna see if I can. Do line number. Wait, is the line the first number or the second number?
Usually, we'll say the first one.
Do the third.
Line 3 or the?
No. The third call.
Third call. Okay, the last one on the list. All right.
Yeah.
Jesse in Wisconsin, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan.
I knew when
Jesse, hang on.
I knew when he made the comment, I see who we could do. You were talking about me.
Wow, we're off to a bad start because I didn't even get through the intro. We got to have this for clips and stuff, my guy. All right, Jesse,
I
hang on.
apologize. Go ahead.
Hang on.
I didn't know I was on yet.
That's all good. Jesse in Wisconsin, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. Jesse, a MAGA Trump supporter, is calling about the left coming after their right to bear arms. I want to start with a question. You good with that, Jesse?
Yep.
When you say the left, who do you mean? The Democrats?
I mean, there's a majority, yeah.
So it's Democrats. Would you say liberals?
I mean, okay, so I would say like okay, so like liberals didn't used to be what today's liberal is, in my understanding.
Okay, but we don't gotta get crazy pedantic. It's not a trick question. Let me ask Jovan a question. Jovan, are you a gun owner?
No.
Okay, I am. Jovan, are you trying to take away anybody's guns?
No.
I'm also not. So keep in mind, you're talking to two leftists, and what you're calling the left, we would probably reject as actually being the left, because you are talking about capitalists who are basically trying to preserve the power and money of billionaires. I don't support Democrats. I don't support liberals. I also don't believe that liberals or Democrats have in any way meaningfully come after your right to bear arms, only limiting what that line is, as I would too. I don't think you deserve nukes, tanks, machine guns. And then there's this line somewhere between semi-automatic weapons and automatic weapons that we have to try better to get right. So that's what you're working with here. If you're going to talk about us with, and then illegal immigrants shouldn't be protected under the Constitution seems to be your other statement. So which direction would you like to start?
Okay. So everything that you just said, I'm basically in agreement with both of your standpoints, other than when we cross the line into the semi-automatic thing. And
okay, great. So let the gun thing will be boring then. Let's do your immigrant one. You believe illegal immigrants shouldn't be protected under the Constitution, correct?
Okay, so if just the small amount of digging that I'm doing, it very clearly states that the 14th Amendment applies to those who are born or naturalized in the U.S. They get those rights. If they come here illegally, then they don't qualify for the same rights as us.
That would be incorrect, Jesse, and I can correct you if you'd like
with a reading of the 14th
Amendment.
And then I'll give you the rest of the call.
Yeah.
Because I just want to, and then you can have it. Jesse, you're here illegally, and I believe you should be deported. What stops that from happening?
I pull out my social security card and my ID and prove that I was born here.
Nope. Prove to who? Who are you going to prove? Prove it to me. I think those are fake. You're out of here. You're illegal.
Okay.
What are you going to do about it?
I pull out my birth certificate. And
I think it's fake. Fuck you. Get out of here. It's illegal. You're out of here. Do you see the problem, Jesse? Who would you think, if you have proof you're a citizen, who do you think you should prove it to?
Okay, so the only line that I'll give you on that is the fact that Democrats are issuing these forms of identification illegally. You
think this is going a different direction. You think this is going a different direction than it is. Jesse, nothing you can say will stop me from believing you're illegal. Should you therefore be deported?
I mean, it doesn't work that way.
Right. It doesn't work that way. So Jesse, are you saying you shouldn't be deported and there should be some kind of process in place where if there is an accusation that you are illegal, that should first be confirmed and we should check whether or not you actually qualify to be deported by that process. And one of the things that would prevent that would be your legal status and your ability to prove it. Are you saying that that's what you support? That kind of process?
That's what you're claiming it would be due process. I've been through the court system. So to me, like due process would be like like hearings and like
Due
more
process
than
is
just
many
let's
things,
do a
sir.
quick search and find out if this
Going
person
to court
is from America.
Going to court would be part of due process.
Due process is one of
Right.
many
I
things,
agree.
Jesse. So due process, if you are an illegal immigrant, still has to apply to you, because if it doesn't, how do we make sure it applies to only legal citizens? Due process only works if everybody gets it. Because if under the category of you're here illegally, I can deny you it, then you, Jesse, who's here legally, I can deny you it too and just say it's because you're illegal.
Yep. I understand. Okay, so in my line of thinking then, if I'm the government and I have access to all of the database of every FBI, right, CIA, local, I mean, and I throw somebody's name in, and in 5 seconds, it's very clear this person is not from our country. Do we need more than that? If we're using the same, nope, I don't care. I'm just going to ignore all of the documents. Like,
yes, you definitely need more than that.
Wouldn't that be considered due process?
Yes, you definitely
according
need
to what
more
you're
than
saying.
That. You absolutely need more than that, because the database that you think exists does not exist, and it's not as robust. And what databases do exist are not as robust as you think they are. But also what you are describing was something conservatives used to be against, the concept of you can be stop and frisk level, let me see your papers now. You are literally describing a sort of Nazi Germany-esque level of verification. Anyway, I said I would let you and Jovan do the 14th Amendment.
Literally being stopped in the street. I mean, like, if you're arrested and you're in a booking cell, right?
Mm-hmm.
I completely disagree, and I think cops way overreach. I am completely against what you just said, 110%.
Okay, I'll just make it super. I'll just make it super simple, because I just want to touch on what you said at first, that you believe that the 14th Amendment isn't to people that are not citizens of the country. However, in literally 1886, the Supreme Court affirmed that the Equal Protection Clause, which is everybody who's which I'll say it fully, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. The Supreme Court upheld that persons means anybody, whether you are a citizen or not. This was in 1886 they affirmed this. So for over 100 years, it has been the case that due process and equal protections of the law are granted to everybody, citizen or not. This was in Yickwo v. Hopkins was the first. And this was only the first of multiple times the Supreme Court has affirmed that this, when it says any person, it means citizen or not.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually reading. That's news to me. This 1886. I'm looking that over right now. I did not know that.
But you know who it's not?
I stand corrected. I mean, it's very interesting that when I searched that up for the 14th Amendment, this is not like on the forefront of it, that it's changed, but that makes sense. I mean,
you would agree that when Donald Trump is deporting people without due process or going against court orders without their constitutionally protected right of due process to not have those court orders rescinded without another court order to rescind them, that this would be a bad thing.
Yeah, if there's no court, you're saying if there's no court process, do I disagree with that? That it's bad, basically.
Great. So you would agree, we'll just confirm that you agree, like we had with the previous caller, you agree that like Trump's deporting of Kilmar Abrego Garcia was completely illegal.
I don't know enough about that, but if it happened how you're stating it happened, then yes, I would agree that that's illegal.
Great.
Because
now
if it happened to me, I'd be pissed, and I would
absolutely.
That's how I would feel.
Now that we know that Trump is committing illegal actions by deporting people who have a constitutionally protected right in the country without giving them that constitutionally protected right, we know that Trump we've contended completely with your first part of your claim. Illegal immigrants shouldn't be protected in the Constitution. We've contended completely with that. You're on board. They should be. And Trump is doing illegal things by not allowing them that protection. I want to go back to that second part that we left earlier, the second part of your claim, that the left is coming for your rights and doing worse for the country. I want to specifically ask
all of the left. Not all of the
Sure,
left.
just the left that you think is doing worse for the country.
Yep.
What specifically on like are you talking the left as in the political left? So the Democrats?
Okay,
like,
so
they
my
are
best
worse than
example
the
of that is-
Republicans?
That's tough. Okay, first of all, I don't think either side of the government is truly for us. I think both sides of the government are dirty up and down in their own different ways. I think that the right is sucking the teat of Israel, and it's disgusting. I have problems with both sides, but when I see, for instance, when a shooting takes place, and boom, what hits the news? Just a ton of people saying, we need to do this, that, and the other, and take people's gun rights, and they shouldn't have these. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I don't hear the right.
So then, what do you
as
think?
Much
then
in
let me
that
ask you.
Rhetoric.
Let me ask you this, Jesse. Let's say we're on board. I'm on board with owning guns. I'm a Marxist. Karl Marx was for gun. I'm for gun. Right? I don't think the worker should ever be unarmed. But let me ask you a question. What do you think should be done to curtail school shootings specifically? How do we as a country solve this thing that's basically become an epidemic? How do we solve this? What policies should we put into place? What issues should we be tackling? What should we be doing there?
I don't think that I have the answer to solve it, but the first thing that pops into my head when you ask me that question is, if there were armed officers or guards in these areas, I think 9 out of 10 of these shootings would not happen, and it would deter. Okay, for instance, these building signs that say.
I understand.
Go ahead.
Hold on, I understand exactly what you're saying. And I love that you said this, because I actually have evidence on the contrary. So what actually has happened is we've looked at every school shooting since Columbine. We've looked at them all. And we found that when there are armed officers at the school, there are higher mortality rates. More children die. At the schools that have an armed officer. Yes. More children die in the shootings when there's an armed officer present.
Uvalde happened. Not only did the cops not storm in and stop the shooter who was still actively killing children, they stopped parents who were there going, if you're not going in, I'm going in. And they prevented the parents from going and taking matters into their own hands. So the ultimate good guys with guns wouldn't even let the other good guys with no guns try to protect their kids from dying.
Well, okay, so I should have stated the right trained man. Okay, if we were to take a guy from the military,
how do we know who that is?
Well, there could be processes for this. I mean, like, for instance,
there were 300 armed officers at Uvalde. None of them were the right trained men.
I know. I'm not saying right officers. Okay, 9 out of 10 cops nowadays are not serving and protecting. They are pawns in the machine. I shouldn't say 9 out of 10. So
you don't believe that
majority of them are just looking out for themselves.
So you don't believe you don't believe that any of the 376 cops were former military trained guys?
I am sure that there were, but if they were blocking parents from running inside to protect their own children, then they did not have the betterment of the people in mind. And to me, that is not serving and protecting. The example that I'd like to use is...
What about DPS or the Border Patrol or the ATF? Do you feel like those are the right guys?
No. So the example that I want to use...
So you're basically creating a Superman situation. You're basically saying, what I want is a superhero at everyone, because right now these people don't exist. But a thing that doesn't exist yet, what if we invented Compound V and pumped some cold, hard patriotism and love of children in their veins? And so you're basically inventing a brand new thing instead of just saying, hey, some machine that is designed to rapidly kill as many people as possible, that's not as good of an answer as something magical. And by the way, again, I'm not for disarmament. I am for certain guns not being accessible to people. But if you can mitigate it some other way, I would rather mitigate it some other way that doesn't violate our rights. But I will not say that the right to carry a specific gun is higher than this epidemic that we are hitting with so many mass school shootings. I'm just glad you didn't try to blame trans people, though. At least you gave us that.
That it would just make me look like a terrible human being. And
but it's what MAGA's been doing all week. I mean, that Manarino kid who's famous on Twitter literally called for imprisoning all trans people until we figure out why they commit so many mass shootings when they literally don't. That's what your side's been saying all week, my guy.
It's not my side. I stated that in the phone call screening. I did vote for Trump, but I'm not like most of these psychos out here that think he's some type of savior and blah, blah, blah. I more hit it from the...
Think of the last 20 years. George W. Bush and Obama, under which one were there more regulations against guns, would you guess?
I would guess Bush, but I don't count Bush as a Republican. His like best buddies are all on the left and Democrats.
So because he's friends with previous presidents, people can't be friends. Are you kidding? Yeah. George Bush was an establishment Republican. That dude is so conservative. Yeah, when he pees, it sounds like the theme song to Rush Limbaugh's show. I don't bow 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 now bow bow. It's weird that I know that. I don't know how you would count him as not a Republican when everything he did was Republican. But under Obama, regulations against carrying guns in certain national parks went away. Regulations that went into effect under Reagan. Reagan did more gun control than Obama did. It was actually easier to get and carry a gun in more places than Obama. What happened under Biden? Nothing. Donald Trump tried to ban bump stocks. So Donald Trump actually by record has more of a gun control record than Biden did. Biden got in trouble because he said his advice would be to his wife to go out back and shoot 2 shotgun shells into the air if she thinks that if somebody's crowded in the house. I'm serious, not a joke. And then it turns out that's illegal. Like that, Biden literally came up with a solution to have a gun. I mean, granted, so did Trump. Why don't they just shoot him in the legs? Because everybody who's never learned to shoot thinks that's a good idea, a good solution, but whatever. I don't get how you sit there and go, even if you can point to some people on the Democrats who are like, get rid of the guns. For every Beto O'Rourke, there's a Trump who actually did do gun restrictions. And by the way, has supported other things that the NRA is totally against. For example, like a judge being able to say on the basis of domestic violence or a therapist saying that you're a danger, we're going to come and take your guns away. He's in favor of taking guns away before an incident happens, which is gun control. So like, it's weird because by record, Trump is much more for gun control. And yet you seem to have said that was the issue you voted on.
No, it's not actually the issue that I voted on, or the only issue. First of all, I don't think that guns kill people. I think people kill people. Like,
but should you have a nuke?
Wait, Jim, I have a better way to answer this. I have a better way to tackle this. I agree with you. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Sure, I agree. Let's just talk about that in like a really boiled down thing. If I have somebody who is going to commit an atrocious act, they're going to. Yep. And let's say we give them 2 tools. Let's say we give them a shovel or we give them an instant kill button. Would you ever say, yeah, let's give them the instant kill button? Like, this is a button that if they press it, whoever they want to die, dies. Or they have to get a shovel and kill them with the shovel.
I don't really know how to answer that. I got to be honest.
You would give them the instant kill button? Or I won't even say give. Let's say they're going to get their hands on the instant kill button, and you can stop them by just getting rid of all the instant kill buttons. or highly regulating instant kill buttons. You would say no. Let's let everybody should have whatever instant kill button they want.
There are countries out there that have done this, and instead they're just getting guns anyway and killing, or using knives.
Which country?
So, like, I don't think
I love the knives example. I love the knives example.
I don't think, but he's not making the knives example. He's saying they're getting guns anyway. So he also said they're getting guns anyway. I want to know the guns. I want to know which other country has banned guns or highly regulated guns to curtail an issue of like mass shootings, and has instead seen the number of mass shootings either rise or seen the mortality rate rise. Which country has this happened in?
Mexico.
So
1972, Mexico banned like assault rifles, and look at what the cartels are doing. It's not doing anything. And
is there a higher or lower mortality? Okay, hold on. Is there a higher or lower mortality rate since Mexico passed this law?
I'm going to say higher. It was 1972. There's no way more people were dying before then than now, with how out of control cartels and stuff. And this is Mexico, obviously. Like, I don't know as much about Mexico as the ideas that I think that I have about my own country. Do I think I know everything? No, but that's just an example. And then the UK with their banning of weapons, and they have like an out of control number of stabbings taking place in their place. Like, I don't think you fix it by removing. I think you fix it by fixing people.
Their mortality rate is so much lower because people are using knives than guns. Like when you say out of the, like, it's out, if you just switch them for guns, all those people just had guns, they would like have a double-digit percentage reduction in population at this point, because it's a small island and those people would do so much more. The difference is what he's describing. By the way, I'm still working on fact checking the shit you were saying. But looking at it right now, the mortality rate is actually lower since it. But by the way, the federal ban expired in 2004. There's always things like this where it's like, you guys say these points that you heard on Fox News and you don't go and you read it and then clarify it, like how the ban expired in 2004. And directly after that, Mexico's firearm homicide and mortality rose, especially in border areas. Also, you usually don't talk about where those guns actually come from and stuff, but it is hard to run a gun-free zone if you are surrounded by guns. And so if America is willing to traffic guns back to Mexico, that would add difficulty. However, it still didn't make your point. Mortality rate went down. So when it comes to England, this is the point I was making about the nuke, and then he was making about the instant kill button. Surely you don't believe, Jesse, that anybody who has the means to get a nuke should have the right to own a nuke, correct?
100%.
Okay. You don't believe that everybody who can or has the means to get a MOAB, a mother of all bombs. It's not a nuke, but it's huge. That everyone should be able to have those. What about grenade launchers? Do you think that you and I, if we can afford it, should be able to go get a grenade launcher?
I think no, not just like walk in, walk out. I think that deserves
licensing, regulation,
incredible background checks and regulation and thorough like examination of the person. If an ex-military guy who's got a stellar record wants to protect his land with something like that, and he can verify via the right checks and balances that he is safe to acquire something like that, I don't think he should be told no. But I definitely don't think freaking Joe Blow off the street should be able to just walk in and get something like that.
Great. That's fine. I don't agree that anyone who like that, a citizen should be able to buy one, but let's just go with that. Grenade launchers or shoots a little thing comes out.
I think we should all have mini nukes from Fallout, personally.
Actually can kill you. There are assault rifles that can effectively kill more people in an amount of time, and reloading and everything like that is actually much easier. So if you were wanting to go cause mass casualties somewhere, you actually are probably better off in a big crowd with an assault rifle than the grenade launcher, especially if you're wanting to get people who are close up to you, because you can't shoot a grenade directly in front of you. You're going to kill yourself too. So if you agree that with that amount of killing potential, there should be a rigorous licensing, monitoring, you have to prove, I assume you would include in that, you need to prove that you have a way to safely store it, that other people who are not licensed to use it shouldn't be able to. Why are you against a killing machine that is more effective than that at killing a lot of people in a crowd, having just the same process? What if I say you can keep your M15, you can keep your AK-74, you can keep your, maybe not AK-47, but certainly the 74, your AR-15, whatever. But you need to go through the same process that someone has to go through to drive a car at the very least, and prove that you have a safe place to store it, that people who are not well can't just easily come and get it. Sure, somebody occasionally is going to break into a safe and all of that, but for the sake of reducing the numbers, these human killing machines that are made for killing lots of people, they're not for animals. Yep. Why not just make a person licensed the same way you would that grenade launcher?
I agree with you on that. Especially with the way that you just worded everything.
That's gun
I think
control.
That there should be the right checks and balances.
That's gun control, though.
Taking them away and removing the option to ever own them.
It is from the people who don't. So the whole reason why we don't have
this is really important.
That would be a good thing.
Wait. This is really important, though, Jesse. This is really important. Yep. Can you name me a piece of legislation put out by the Democrats, the left, whoever, that calls for a complete ban of firearms, in which all of your firearms will be taken and then you can never purchase another one?
I would need time to answer that correctly. But no, off the top of my head, being honest, I can't. I just know it's
in the inverse, Jesse?
Continually talked about thing, which I know is them repeating and getting people comfortable, used to it over and over and over and over and over again until, boom, we have the right move to strike, and we can take as many weapons away from the people as possible, because that's what gives them power to stand up to us one day.
If they did that, would they be violating?
Donald Trump's the only president
they'd be violating
that.
The Constitution, right?
I can't hear. I don't know what you guys both talked.
I'll give you back to him, but I just want to say what you just described, only Donald Trump has proposed. That I want to set the rules by which we can take guns away from people. The thing I described, the licensing thing, is what the NRA and the Republicans that are against and say, nope, you can't, because the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed upon. So it doesn't matter whether or not we would be safer, because we're saying that would violate the Constitution, and that's more important than dead kids. That was the little point I wanted to give in response to your thing. You feel free to take it back.
Yeah, my response to you would just be, there has never been a single piece of legislation proposed by the Democrats that would remove everyone's gun and no longer allow them to buy guns. It's never been proposed. It's never existed. And as Jimmy said, there would be literally no way for them to legally pass that bill, because it is a constitutionally protected right. And so far, the Democrats seem to be the ones, not that I'm a Democratic fanboy, I'm not a simp for the Dems, I don't like them either, but so far it seems to be that the Democrats are the ones less likely to violate people's constitutional rights than the right is, because you've already admitted that Donald Trump has violated people's constitutional rights.
Yeah, based off of what you guys said before, I'm still willing to admit that. Again, I don't know anything about that case, but if it happened the way you guys said it did, then yeah, I guess. I mean, it doesn't surprise me though, honestly, guys. Like, politicians suck. I think they're all scammers. Period.
Okay, but you personally voted for Donald Trump, right?
I did. Yep.
Okay, why? If so far what we found in this conversation is Donald Trump is the one more willing to violate rights, what was it that you said, I'm choosing Donald Trump over any other candidate?
Before all of this took place, and I'm seeing what I'm seeing right now, because as every politician, they don't ever do and be who they pretend to be before they get in. Then they get in and this whole new version of themselves shows up, and that's been literally every president ever. So, but before that,
I'd like to analyze that one, but you can go ahead and finish, but I want to analyze that once you're done.
Okay. My thinking was, Business. I'm a small business owner. I run my own business. I have now for 7 years. His first presidency, he did a ton to help me out in that area as far as easier to get funding. I got a lot more tax breaks. I have more tax benefits. I also have 2 children and a family to support, right? So like my line of thinking was, okay, I can very clearly see what the left is doing with taxes and this whole quote unquote tax the rich. Like, it's a scam. Rich don't pay taxes because the entire tax bracket is set up so that they don't have to. At least Donald Trump did something and put. It is true.
I kind of
That's
agree.
why none of them pay taxes.
The rich don't pay taxes.
The rich pay taxes. They don't pay their fair share, but they pay
Yeah.
taxes. Let me just ask you a
minimum amount.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I agree.
okay, and you think they should be paying less than that minimum?
Who, the rich?
Yes.
No, I think that everyone should be taught to the same level on how to get around the tax system to not pay taxes like they are. Because they make so much money, they are allowed.
Okay, so then
what you're
saying,
a lot more leniency
Jesse,
to get out of paying taxes.
Jesse, hold on. What you're saying is a few things.
Yep.
One, Donald Trump made it easier for wealthy people to skirt tax responsibility. This is true.
No, I said
this
me.
led to it. Hold on. Cool. Donald Trump made it so a lot of people could skirt tax responsibility. This is true. This is why we saw a net revenue decrease under his first term and currently under his second term. This led to an increase in the deficit. So you're saying that Donald Trump was your choice because he decreased. I understand that you're saying it's because of what he did for small businesses, but this stuff he did for businesses led to an increase in our deficit. That's a bad thing.
Yep. Agreed.
So
I completely understand, but follow me on this thinking. If the wealthiest of the wealthy, and the system is created for them to do it by multiple loopholes, whether it be real estate or just spending enough on the other end, right?
So why don't we close the loopholes?
Why shouldn't the small
Jesse,
guy
let me walk a loophole through. Wait, I want to walk him through a loophole and see what he thinks.
Well, I was just going to point out that, like, do you mind holding for a sec? Yeah, I just got to get Jesse. I also own a small business, and I'm sitting here going, like, you once again believe the reverse thing is true. You thought Donald Trump was better for guns. He's the record that's worse. There's a core thing you are right on. The rich are not paying their fair share, and then you're saying, and I want to do better as a small business. But the proposals for the small businesses were as follows. Donald Trump was going, hey, small businesses, I'm going to give you a little more. And then I'm going to give the rich a lot more. It's going to blow up the deficit. And in the long run, right now you won't pay it. But in the long term, you definitely will. Tariffs, taxes, everything to recover the fact that, and inflation, that this deficit's going to get exploded. You are going to get fucked by later. But short term, I can make it look, and I'm going to give you a little something now and later. The Democrats were the opposite. You were going to get more from Democrats as a small business owner specifically, and the rich were going to get less, because your idea of keep the rich where they are, but let us skirt the same doesn't work, because the way the conservative system works is the rich don't pay their fair share, and we make the small, the not rich, overpay to cover it. The Republican tax system is a wealth transfer from the poor to the rich. It increases the wealth gap. So, for example, had you voted for the Democrats, you would have been able to get deductions way, way sooner. You can get your startup expenses from $5,000 to $50,000. Like literally a 10x. The amount of taxes you were going to see your taxes go down, but the rich people, their loopholes would close and go up. Once again, you thought the opposite was true. Now, in fairness, again, I'm not a Democrat and I don't want to be sitting here. It's more of a better than Trump situation, not what would be good, but better than Trump. But Kamala Harris and the DNC fucked up that messaging. So it would have been up to you. And so you still bear responsibility for failing to find this shit out. they should have focused more on that, because while they wanted to run just against Trump, the Republicans were saying, we think that you guys are in pain and want to see change and we'll change it for you. And they were saying all that pain you think you're in is wrong. So, because statistically, look at the stock market. So you're not feeling the pain you think. So they're to blame for that, but you're also to blame for not going and finding out if the assertions that you were voting on were true.
Agreed. And throughout this entire past year, I've slowly been learning and coming to the understanding that, you know, it's really just, it's still falling back on us, falling back on me. You know, the lower tax bracket / the middle class, and this whole tariff shit and all, it's just a scam. And
by the way, tariffs are taxes on you directly. So for whatever tax cut you got, are you getting fucked by tariffs yet?
Now, so 2016, no. This time around, yes.
Yeah, you're about to get
after the rule just closed. You're about to get real fucked.
I buy supplies from all over the place.
Do you spend more than $800
on what?
On anything you purchase overseas?
I'm a handyman, so yes, I can.
Oh yeah, then you're real.
I mean, this is all new. This is just now happening. They're just putting
before we get too far away from it, Jesse. Before we get away from it, I just want to ask you about, because remember, you said specifically that there are loopholes that rich people are able to skirt through, and you think instead of closing those loopholes, that everybody should be able to do those loopholes as well.
Okay, so I mean, yes, I'll just say yes, but I do have more to add to that. If you would, I just want to ask you about. I just want to ask you. Sure, I'll just ask you in like broad terms. Let's say I have let's say I have I don't know, I have a bicycle, and that bicycle is worth like, I don't know, $500. Let's say it's a really good bicycle, and it's my favorite bicycle. I love this bicycle so much. But then I see another kid on the playground, and he has a motorized car. You know, those little RV, like you can sit in them and they drive, and you're just like, damn, that would hit. But I don't want to get rid of my bicycle. Because like if I sold my bicycle to like the king of the playground, I'd then have to pay like a tax on that bicycle, and that would just suck. So instead, I go to this other kid who like is always lending people money. And I'm like, yo, kid, if you lend me money to buy this, like I don't have $1,000 to buy this thing. I only have $500, and my bike is another $500. So if you lend me that other $500 and I don't pay you back, you can have my bike, right? So this way, I can purchase his things without paying taxes by selling my bike. If I do this, do you you're cool with this type of loophole, right? Okay. Yes and no. No, because no one should be able to get away with it. But yes, because everybody is getting away with it unless they change the system for everybody. Why? Because they have more money. Are they allowed to get away with it more so than me? And that is provable by the fact that
I love that answer. Now, let's say the king of the playground is up for re-election, because in this kingdom we elect the king, versus another king of the playground. And the second king of the playground, in their plan for the playground, proposes taxing the bike if you use it to sell stuff. They propose taxing the bike. So you actually have to pay those taxes on the bike. Who do you think you should pick? The king of the playground that doesn't want to close the loophole, or the king of the playground that does?
The one that does.
Then you should have voted for Kamala Harris, because she wanted to tax unrealized gains.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's so not cool. I also am a trader, and if I was to be taxed on my unrealized gains... You just
agreed that there should be a tax on unrealized gains. The bike is an unrealized gain. And what can happen when you have an unrealized gain... No, I'm not going to hang on to this. Hold on. You just agreed that we should be taxing unrealized gains, and that unrealized gains shouldn't be able to, untaxed, go towards purchases. Taxing unrealized gains, and by the way, she only wanted to tax them, I think it was above $1 million. Like, I don't think you have $1 million in unrealized gains, because if you did, I think you would be doing too much with your days to be calling into me and Jimmy Snow talking right now. But like, you just agreed that you should pick the person that wants to tax unrealized gains, but now we're saying that we shouldn't tax unrealized gains. Gains, not games.
Well, okay, you put it in a way.
It was 100 million, by the way.
That
over 100 million. It was only for unrealized capital gains for households with a net worth exceeding $100 million. It was basically called informally the billionaire minimum income tax.
I would just like to say really quickly that I don't think any of this is okay, either which way. But the tax code and law is set up this way so that they can do it. I can't control what they set up as law. They're the ones that
you
put it in
place. You can vote for the person who will change it, though.
But they do dictate on how much I get to participate. Like, for instance, a normal taxpayer gets 10, 12 deductions. Just having a small business, I immediately qualify for 25 to 30. They set it up this way. I don't agree with any of that.
Everything should be equalized and more fair. And I've even told people who it's like, hey, if you have a hobby that there's any money in and out on, go get an LLC because your whole tax situation is going to change. Sure. You're correct about all that. But I think what Jovan is trying to get you to acknowledge is you have an idea of one person had a tax idea, one person has another. It seems like at least by now you should be able to admit that however bad you think the billionaire tax was that he was just describing on unrealized gains, that's what it was informally called, the minimum billionaire tax. However bad you think that was, the increased cost of soft woods from Canada, I assume is fucking you, right? You said you're a handyman? Is that not, do you not do a lot of wall repairs?
Yep.
Yeah, you're getting fucked by the increase in softwoods. I'm a woodworker, so I can literally tell you off the shelf what I'm getting fucked on. You ever buy DeWalt?
Yep.
Any other Black & Decker products?
Yep. It's all outrageous. I mean, it's been
How you doing with gypsum right now?
4 years and getting worse.
I don't even use gypsum. I just see it on the fucking shelf, and I'm like, I am pretty sure that's doubled in the last year in price. Does that sound about right? Is gypsum up double?
Yeah. I mean, everything is paint. Anything that I use is
Jesse.
Almost double.
You voted for the guy who kept billionaires richer because you didn't like the idea that maybe you just didn't research it enough. None of the policies that Kamala Harris was, and again, Jesse, I've liked you enough, but fuck you for making me defend Kamala Harris. None of her policies would have your overall your wallet would be fatter at the end of every year if you had voted Harris and Harris succeeded in getting her tax code changes. She was much more pro small business.
Can we both be fair to each other though and say that this is not what he's doing right now? Is he did not talk about this before he was elected?
Yeah. Oh, sir, yes, he did. Sir, he said he's going to be the tariff president. Oh yeah,
tariffs. Yes,
tariffs every day.
That was his whole. That was like half of his running platform.
I'm open and willing to admit to both of you that in the past 6 months I've been diving into what that means, and now I'm the one educating all of the idiots around me, saying that the tariffs are helping, and letting them know, no, they are a direct tax on us. That's not helping us. But that's new information to me.
Yeah. So, and by the way, you're a handyman. I'm going to bet you have repeat customers who you like, right?
Yep.
Can we talk about the indirect cost of, I mean, it's a direct cost too, but the indirect cost of the relationships you're having right now is you're having to call and say, look, sorry, this job I used to do for you for $300, it's $500 now. Is that not happening to you?
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
This is where I'm at with it. And I'm just like, it sounds like, you're not admitting it here today, Jesse, but I hope that you keep going down and you go, fuck, I should have voted Kamala Harris, because at the end of the day, she would have been definitely better, even from a just your situation scenario. But like in the broader scheme of things too. And again, I don't want to be sitting here like right now, Kamala Harris's party, as far as I'm concerned, is the party that's eating their own tail by shitting on Mamdani in New York. And like that's still, even if she's not doing it directly, that's the DNC who was like supporting her and now not letting their own champions and people who are actually...
wrong with the people in your comments? Why am I a fucking racist?
Are they calling you racist?
I honestly, yeah, I don't understand how that could possibly be.
Well, first of all, don't watch live chat when you're reading, but I would tell you...
I shouldn't be looking at it at all, but the shit that they're saying is absolutely insane. My whole entire thought on calling was, okay, if they got a problem with him doing this, are they going to have a problem with the other people that are doing it? For instance, your argument about the crypto and him, which is BS, by the way, I'm in agreement. But like, what about all the senators? What about the people that are literally using that?
You know what? Wait, Jesse, I'm so glad Jesse, I'm so glad you brought that up. Because I agree, and I was really happy that, what was his name, Josh Hawley, proposed the Pelosi Act, which bans elected officials from owning securities and investments. He banned it. But it was really interesting what happened when Hawley proposed this act. Every single Republican voted against it. Donald Trump told them to kill it. Donald Trump came at Hawley for it, calling Hawley a Democratic shill. It seems really weird that the side you voted for, and Hawley's a Republican Trump fanboy. He has been on the Trump train since day one. And so it just seems weird that Republicans all voted, not all Republicans, it was at committee. It was to advance from committee, it had to be voted on, and it was voted 8-7, 8 being all the Republicans who said no, 7 being all the Democrats plus Hawley who voted yes. So it just seems weird to me that if we're going to be like, yeah, we don't like all this insider trading, well, Donald Trump wants to keep insider trading. He wants politicians. That doesn't seem like a drain the swamp kind of person, right? Yeah. That wants politicians to be able to continue. And Hawley even put in a stipulation in the bill that said because it's in the bill, it says that presidents and vice presidents also cannot own stock, except for the current president and vice president right now, because he thought the only way he'd get it passed is if he gave Trump protections from the bill.
Little special
so
exemption.
It just seems weird, right?
Yeah.
That all the things that you're for are not being voted on by the guy you voted for.
At the end of the day, we get 2 choices each election, Jesse, and you do have to vote for the better one. And where the racist stuff probably is coming in would be a different argument, because I absolutely will defend that if you voted MAGA, you voted for a white supremacist movement. And maybe you did so in complete ignorance and people completely ignorantly voted for the Nazis. But that notwithstanding, you only have the 2 options. But that doesn't mean I would put literally every president, if I just got to decide like what tax policy is going to look like, what's going to change, I would literally put every president since I was born in prison. They are all awful war criminals. They have all overseen the deaths of so many civilians and relied on the lack of empathy people have for those who don't look as much like them or are of another religion, as well as other ridiculous problems that happen. So this isn't a situation where I'm saying Kamala Harris would have ended up being a war criminal too. By the time she did anything on Gaza, I do think she would have been better than Trump on Gaza, because it's hard to imagine anyone being worse than Trump on Gaza. But by the time it would have she would have done anything on Gaza, she still would have been several war crime, genocide enabling acts in. So I'm not sitting here telling you like Kamala Harris was good, but you get 2 choices and you take the lesser of 2 evils. You eat the more palatable bowl of shit.
Can I be like honest with you though? I did think that that's what I was doing.
I get it.
Has my mind completely changed since then? Yes. Yeah. Based off of how it's affecting me, my 12-year-old daughter is going into grocery stores and shocked by the cost of life in just 2 years. And a 12-year-old shouldn't be focused on that. That's fucked up. Sorry for the language. But
and a little bit is Republicans are very, very good at marketing to people who do have that sort of, and this is going to come off as condescending. I don't know how to stop it, but you are their target audience. The people who are just worried about themselves and their family and don't have a broader, more national idea and perspective of like, yeah, but what about all the people who will be deported, people who are losing healthcare, whatever. And they will target you and make you think you're going to do better under them, even though you don't. They are the ultimate get people to vote against their best interests under this idea of like, but what happens the day you win the lottery and become a billionaire? You'll be glad we're in power. And that's what you're working toward. That's the American dreams. What's the point if that dream goes away? Yeah, that's how they do it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. All right, Jesse, I hope you call back. If you want to, we can dig into the white supremacist thing another time if you like, but you didn't irk me the way Tracy did the other day, so I didn't make her I didn't try to make you violently face that reality as I did her. You should watch that clip later though.
Where all that comes from.
When that clip comes out, it'll be this week. Look for a clip from a caller named Tracy and listen to that clip, and you'll get the perspective of myself and the audience on like, boy, it's kind of like the old adage about religion. If you want good people to do bad things, make them religious, and if you want non-racist to vote racist, make them Republican. Anyway, all right, Jesse, we'll let you go there.
All righty.
See ya.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I appreciate the talk. Thanks for opening my eyes on some things and being cool about everything.
For sure. And definitely go and check the things we said. We don't want you to take any of our words for it. Go research.
100%. Dig deeper. That's what I'm taking from all of this.
Yep. Don't go QAnon.
All right, you guys
though.
have a good one.
All right. See you, Jess.
Could you imagine?
I can't stop imagining.
I thought my bike analogy was really good.
Yeah, I did too. It's tough when it's like, when people don't realize, when people are like, no, but that's different. And it's like, it's not though. This is the thing we're trying to tell you, is that's what that is. That's what it is. All right. We got 24 minutes before we give you back to the Sunday show After Dark. Let's go ahead and talk to Julian in Puerto Rico. Julian in Puerto Rico. I'm surprised it says here you're a Trump supporter. I would have hoped. Okay, well, let's just start here. Julian in Puerto Rico, you're on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you okay. Hey, do you believe Puerto Rico deserves statehood?
No, I don't want to be a state. Fuck. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can curse on this, but no, I don't want to be a state.
Why wouldn't you want to be a state?
I actually disagree with that as well.
I want independence. I think that's the only
Okay.
Fair.
Got it. Okay. That's fine. And I think that's probably the leftist sentiment as well. Now let's come to reality. For the next decade at minimum, the Puerto Rico is going to be at least a territory. So as long as Puerto Rico is under the tyranny, the colonization of the US, during that reality, would you rather it be a state or a territory?
Territory, because I don't think you can ever get out of statehood. I mean, I think that's why the Civil War was a thing, because they didn't allow the Confederate States to break off.
But you think that you do think as a territory with 3 million that you have more of a shot of getting out?
Yeah, because and I hope I
don't agree
at any point.
Yeah, I think that I think it's a naive position that doesn't take into account the I don't know. It's interesting, but you're right that the constitutional barrier is not there. But I actually think we've probably got a split up coming in the near future, and it may actually more benefit you to be but it benefits you to be one of the states that splits.
May I say one thing really quick? When I first called, I didn't really know how to say. I'm not a Trump supporter. I supported I wanted to say I only support one of the things that he's done in regards to Puerto Rico, because I can't really be either a Trump or a Kamala supporter, because I can't even vote for the president. But their actions still matter a lot in Puerto Rico. And so the one thing I wanted to say that I supported was because I mean, ever since Trump has been in office, his whole mission has been to like basically cripple institutions that he deems unworthy or just like a nuisance to him and his rich billionaire buddies. But in this one instance, last week he actually ended up firing like 6 out of the 7 board members of the Puerto Rico Financial Oversight Committee, which is like this neo-colonial fiscal board that dictates all of the island's finances. And I'm not naive. I don't think he did this because he wants to see a liberated Puerto Rico. I just think he did it so that he would have an easier time getting the board to go away. Long story short, I don't know how to say it in English. I'm sorry. The guys, the creditors, I think that's the English word, the creditors that gave money before Puerto Rico declared bankruptcy, they want their money back, but they can only do that when the board is gone. And so it's a weird instance of where like, opposite paths kind of like their interests meet a little bit in the middle. But I mean, I'm not naive for a second. I don't agree with him gutting every institution, but I think this particular institution does deserve to, if he can't outright just get rid of it, I think it should be crippled.
But
I don't know if that
I don't
makes
think he's
sense.
crippling it. It seems like it sounds like, from at least the way the administration has talked about it, that the plan is to put their own people.
Right. I was literally just going to say that next. There's a reason why he only fired some of them, and that person is going to be the anchor to the new administration. This is the problem with
five of them were Democratic supporting individuals, while 2 of them are Democrats specifically, and 2 weren't.
But
only 2 of them weren't Democrats.
This is what I think, like, it's sort of similar to your feelings on statehood. Now, look, if you didn't have to become a state to get a vote because we got rid of the electoral college and we used a popular vote system and you got a vote, fine enough. But it sounds like you're a bit accelerationist in a way that's more like, wouldn't it be great if this is how this worked, in a way that's never going to be practical? And so I think this is that same thing where you're like, oh, I need that thing crippled, and you're seeing it short-term hurt, and not recognizing that the replacement will be worse, and it will be worse for Puerto Rico.
Okay. I mean, I'm not like hard-headed. I'm willing to, if my naivety is pointed out, I'm willing to change my view. So
Do you know why they haven't been replaced yet?
It may be an ignorance of American politics because they don't really teach that over here. We don't have a Democrat or Republican Party.
Yeah.
Julian, here's what I think what should happen right now. I think we should flip the script, and instead, me and you should debate Jimmy on Puerto Rico statehood.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Yeah, hell
sure.
Yeah.
Once we're done, do you know why the? I'm fine with it. Again, I what I care about is as long as it's a quote unquote property of the U.S., I do think they should get a right to vote in our elections and have equal access to that. But I also want to abolish the electoral college. So I don't really care what.
I don't think that's practical either, though. So, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because that would require a like a 20 plus, maybe even a generational plus change to adopt the U.S. political system. Like I said, we don't have your political parties over here. There isn't like a thing such as a Puerto Rico Democratic Party or Republican Party. There's 4 parties, but 2 historically have been the ones governing the island. It's the right-wing PNP and the center-left PPD, People's Democratic Party. But there's always, on a minority fringe, been the Independence Party. You can think of the PNP as Republican in a sense and the PPD as Democrat. Now, recently, given, it's really just a centrist party, as the colony has been in this sort of decay, they've lost a massive vote share. So not too dissimilar of what's happening with the Democratic Party right now, where the centrist figures they're having a tough time justifying their existence just because they don't really do a whole lot of anything.
Where is this coming to being impractical that they would be able to vote in the federal elections is where I'm getting confused.
Because we have no idea what Democrat or Republican is. Like, that would make no sense.
Yeah, I don't even know that. I don't even know that removing the electoral college would on its face it would, because what you would have happen is that every U.S. citizen would now, their votes would count. But that would be if the United States didn't kick back and say only in the 50 states and wasn't counting territories.
Right. And so
Right.
we would
so to re-educate everyone, to tell
certainly
everyone,
counting
hey, this is what
territories
the
would have to be an
Democrat is.
important part. If we're overturning the Electoral College already is sort of the constitutional thing that is making it by the states. But also, when you're describing that you only have those parties down there and you don't have the two-party system, getting rid of the Electoral College also gets rid of the practicality of it. So it won't happen immediately. People are initially going to still identify themselves one way or another, but it gets rid a lot of the two-party system as well. Now, as far as actual dramatic changes I would make, this is only the beginning. I wouldn't have a president system either.
I don't know about that.
No,
well, we wouldn't be talking about practicality. We'd be talking about what ought happen.
The only thing we need for the Electoral College finally to go away is for a Democrat to win without the popular vote. And then I think actually we probably could get it. If Gavin Newsom, who's probably our next president, wins with the Electoral College but not the popular vote, then suddenly we have a big enough coalition to overturn it. But what then follows and gets replaced with would be debated, and it's going to take a long time. So again, we're talking about, we have the position of where is the world we are in and where is the world we'd like to be and what things do you have to do early on. I'm fully down for Puerto Rican independence if that's what the Puerto Ricans want, as I'm down for Hawaiian independence because that it seems to be what the Hawaiians want. I'm also down with just splitting this country up into a few countries, but what we're down for and what we have to work on in the short term notwithstanding. Anyway, I'm curious if you know why those board members you brought up haven't been replaced yet, because I think that may have been a part of why you were hopeful about it. Is that part of it, that you saw that they were fired and nobody was installed immediately?
No, not even that. I just think Trump isn't known for putting necessarily competent people in place. Yeah. So I think the people that he would replace, I mean, their main goal is to get rid of the board, at least from what I understand, to get rid of the board, because that's the only thing that's preventing United States creditors from being able to make money off of the money they loaned to the Puerto Rican government, right? So if the board is out, then there's nothing stopping them from coming in and cashing their check, which, I understand they're devils, but I don't see how that justifies the existence of a board. I mean, yes and no. I mean, yeah, it would be nice if
the board's not going away is the point. The point is that this isn't a good thing because the board's not going away. The answer to the question is it's because Congress isn't in session right now. Congress returns in September, and the new appointees will be released then. They'll be handpicked by terrible economic advisors like Peter Navarro, and whatever the worst thing Donald Trump could do to benefit from having the board control by loyalists is what's going to happen. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, Trump is doing this thing in the short term where I could see where it's useful. Now, what's the worst thing he could do? And if you count on that's what he's going to do, that benefits him. That's probably, you're most likely going to come up heads.
I also, I just think the problem becomes like, and it's just sort of a reiteration of what we've been saying, but like, I would be very wary of Trump doing anything, because all that's going to happen, in my opinion, is we're going to get even more imperialism happening in Puerto Rico by him. Because 100%, right now, a couple of the Democrats who've been against this have said that they're worried he's going to install like almost like bankers into these positions who are not going to be worried about like the broader health and security of Puerto Rico, but instead are going to be more worried about like investments and things like that. So like, I don't know. It seems like it's actually going to end up. It might end up being like a negative that's going to hurt Puerto Rico in the longer run.
Also, Puerto Rico's got a lot of brown people. Donald Trump's going to do crazy shit there just for that reason. I don't know why, but I expect the National Guard will police the streets there before it's all over.
Well, fun fact. So ICE, I forget exactly what it is, but ICE is like there's a rule where there's like they can do certain things. Like you have less of a particular freedom to where they can search a bit more within 100 miles of like a border, right? I forget exactly what rule that is, but that allows them to do that. But the thing with Puerto Rico is it's only 100 miles long, and it's only 35 miles wide. So, I mean, the entire island already has been completely subjugated to like complete ICE rule. The Dominican minority has definitely suffered a great ton. I mean, it's pretty much what's happening over there is happening over here, except with a large Mexican population, and they replace that with the Dominican minority immigrant population here. So I guess I was wrong then, and that wasn't really a point that I had taken into consideration before. So it's not really eliminating that board. It's just
shifting,
replacing it with cronies.
Molding
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think Puerto Rico would be better off with senators or no?
Again, I don't want any more integration with the American system. So I don't know how much this is known over there, but the only reason why statehood had any sort of movement or traction here was an economic reason, right?
Sure.
But even here, you don't see pro-statehood people waving around their American flag. It's always the Puerto Rican flag.
In fairness, only MAGA people are really waving around American flags, and even in America, it's not like I'm not going out with my American flag. I almost did it this week.
When I go to Europe,
set one on fire, but that's about it.
Right. Well, when I go to Europe, right, and someone asks me what I am, I say Puerto Rican, right? I never say American. Now, if they ask me what my citizenship is, then I have to say, yeah, United States citizenship, because I'm not allowed any other one. But culturally, I think there really is no integration aspect here. I don't know. I
just pulled it up because I knew they just did their referendum in 2024. According to your last referendum, you guys are at like 60% pro-statehood, only 12% pro-independence.
So independence plus free association. Free association is a type of independence. It's similar to what the Federated States of Micronesia have. So they are not a territory. They allow their own government. They can have their own immigration laws. They're sovereign, right? So you mix that with independence, that goes up to, they're both the same thing, right? It's about. They're not 42%. Quite.
There's still a contractual agreement with America, and you get definitely the less strong negotiating side on it.
Well, and what I wanted to say was that doesn't count the statehood, that referendum. That's if you don't count the ballots that were submitted in protest. So they were marked with empty, or they were marked with Free Palestine. So they chose to not, it was like a protest ballot, like throwing it away because it doesn't matter at the end because that ballot doesn't mean anything to Congress. But if you count that, then statehood got under 49% as well, among the added up with the rest of the other options.
I don't know. Well, I mean, that's an assertion you can make in the same way that I, as a leftist, think that, Medicare for all probably is a winning topic, but, it's a based on polling, but then people don't come and vote on it.
They submitted that ballot in. They just did it on purpose without marking anything. It was like a protest ballot. And so it would be, you would have to include that because it was still submitted, right? So, if you do that...
No, I understand it. The question is, which number do you give it to? And is there a possibility, we are both presuming, and I'm probably on your side, that most of those are not going to be statehood votes, but I'm much more ignorant on this than you are. So, but it sounds like you're saying that too. However, I don't have the data to say that definitively is the case.
I don't see how. It's sort of like this argument between Russia and Ukraine, right? Where Ukraine was a part of Russia at some point, but it wouldn't. Does the annexation aspect there make any more sense from on a moral standpoint? I don't think so, because if you have these people who want to have their own identity and they want to be who they are, and they are genuinely different than the main colonial empire, right? Then it would make sense for them to want to have their own thing, right?
But you don't have to sell me. I'm good on everybody leaving America who wants to leave America at this point. At this point, I don't know what keeping the 50 states together is doing to benefit the good people. The right, they're benefiting a lot. It's funny because they act very hateful toward their blue states, despite the fact that they take money from the blue states and the blue states give them money.
Right. I mean, Texas doesn't compare to California's number 4 spot of being like a global superpower, right? Economics wise. And I get all of that. I mean, I'm not
Mississippi.
Right. And then I hear, well, okay, well, like Mississippi has a higher GDP per capita than, London or like England does. But it's like, okay, yeah, but they've got free healthcare, right? And that doesn't mean that everyone in Mississippi is rich. That just means that you have a lot of high value companies that do economic activity in Mississippi. But
Correct.
The average Mississippian isn't doing any better because of that.
Shells.
I get that.
Wyoming does the same thing. What's Julian, is there anything else you were, because it said kind of Trump supporter, you said how it was there something else you supported Trump on?
No, I mean, I guess the one other thing maybe was the no tax on tips, but I hear that's like not even, like, it's a wobbly thing. It's not even like entirely on its surface what it sounds like. I don't know.
It's really not.
I'm a waiter, so.
It's pretty much not real. It's not effective. And once it goes into effect, it will arguably create ways to incentivize that more companies restructure their companies to be tipped positions, as opposed to, it's going to make the tipping problem in America much worse. Because right now it needs to be that tipping should be something we could do for fun and optionally, where it's like, hey, they did good, I'll give them $1 or $2 extra because they're solid, because they have a good wage and everything. Like, they're good, like in other countries. But here it's literally like, if I don't increase the bill that I just paid by 30%, I'm kind of an asshole. So I don't need to remember.
What's worse?
I don't have to budget ahead for, like, I'm going to buy $10 or $20 worth of food, because we're going to buy $10 anymore. I need to budget in advance that I'm going to be buying $26 or whatever.
What I fear most about the no tax on tips thing, what I fear most about that is it's going to throw people into new tax brackets, which is then going to take more money out of their pockets.
Yeah, it's going to backfire. The breakdowns of this have always shown it's going to backfire.
If I just can ask one last thing. I know you said something earlier about like an accelerationist view. Is that is that an inherently a bad way of wanting change to come about? Or
there's not a lot of good examples.
I would much rather want bricks. Okay, yeah.
It's usually held by the people who think they'll be fine, that position, and there's not a lot of historical examples. Even now, think about the worst thing that ever happened, and the Nazi Party is raising back to power. Took them a century, but they're coming back in Germany.
Oh yeah.
It just depends on like what type of acceleration we're talking about. If you're saying like, I want Donald Trump because I think Donald Trump will lead to the fall of the United States empire, I think that's bad. I think that the fall of the U.S. empire shouldn't come from like Donald Trump fucking up so hard that everybody dies. But like there are accelerationist positions that I think are good. Like, hey, we need to like just as a broad example, like people that were going, hey, we should just force the South to give up their slaves. We shouldn't wait for a policy. We should just like go in and free all the slaves. That's a good accelerationist position,
Oh, okay. Like bold action against like injustice, as opposed to just like wanting an entire building to crumble, but not realizing that there's still people in it.
I typically don't see many accelerationists who are saying, I like Trump because he's going to lead to this, have a plan for after the downfall. Like, they don't seem to have a plan to make sure that, like, disabled people, people of color, women, queer people have some sort of safety net from being fucked over in the long run.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, so I was wrong then. I'm not really a Trump supporter. You guys educated me a lot in a sense. So thanks for that. I don't really, there aren't a whole lot of sources to get here on the island that provide a whole lot of context into how American politics works. So I've just mainly been getting my stuff on YouTube. And
don't worry, there's not a lot in America. There's not a lot of good resources on how American politics actually works either. So it's barely different. Yeah. We do gotta go though, Julian, because we gotta wrap up the shows. Yeah. It sounds like you're on your way out anyway. Thank you very much, Julian.
No, thanks.
Bye-bye. I'm trying to find out, what am I coping? Somebody in the chat said I'm coping. What am I coping about?
Ooh, there's been a lot of chirpers in the chat today.
I'm fine with that. I just want to know which thing it was. I know I'm visibly, obviously losing my steam. I gotta get the meds going here, but I'm wondering which thing I was coping about because I don't think I had even a very. Anybody who's waiting on hold will either be back Tuesday. You can call in then. I'll be back with Josie Caballero. Or you can call the Sunday Show After Dark, which is right after this one. But I do want to know what I was coping on. If I was coping, I'll admit I was coping. Usually when people say that, though, it's more of like a, hey, here's a thing that people don't have a response to, therefore I won. It's kind of like not a real thing. It actually frustrates me because it's a tactic everybody uses, but I wish the left wouldn't. I wish leftists wouldn't just go. I also don't like when leftists are like, oh, you just said something that actually makes sense. That just sounds super liberal to me. And I'm like, okay, well, you've now not made a point still. So if you go ahead and make the point instead of just calling it liberal, because now you just sound like fucking the 5 on Fox News. Wait to see. What was that?
Who are we sending people? Who are people going over to watch over on the main channel?
Owen Morgan and Austin Archer are doing the dealio over there. Apparently, it's a bot who just says the same thing every time. You lefties, all you lefties are the same, closed-minded, not even willing to hear somebody you don't want to learn or listen. Boss for Gaming, why didn't you call in? Boss 2 for Gaming, why didn't you call in? We would have heard it. And yet we literally heard out everybody on today's show, people who disagree with us. And if all us leftists are all the same, you got to let other leftists know that because they keep canceling me. I got canceled by Jovan earlier on this very show.
Did it again. He did it again.
No, I didn't. Your full name is Jovan. I mean Jovan.
Jovan is crazy.
Go find Jovan Bradley. His show's awesome, and I hope he invites me back again because I actually had tons of fun the other day. But in the meantime, this was the show, and now you gotta go and watch The Line. It's the Sunday Show After Dark. Jovan, take it away and close it.
Bye.
That's solid verse. Goodbye.